What I think about related to these four principles that I'm going to talk a little bit about is that they are incredibly similar to the 12-step piece. In fact, he was good enough to send me a copy where it listed all 12, and it literally, the match is almost perfect. And then when I thought a little bit about it, sometimes my students will ask me, well, you know, where did these four principles come from? How did this occur? And I think I told David the story about this, that I actually think that one of the things that we all talk about, that I think all are encouraged to do, is to be leaders, right? In whatever we're doing. And sometimes when people talk about leadership, there's this tendency to think of, oh, well, that's when I've got a group of people reporting to me and I'm managing people. But anybody who's thought about this openly realizes, no, leadership has nothing to do with titles and organizational charts and whether people report to you. Leadership is all about the ability to influence people, right? And the only way you can influence people is you have to be able to relate to people. And then you literally think through and say, well, boy, you know, if I can relate to David, if I can understand David and I can understand why he thinks about things and so on, well, if I can relate to, maybe I can influence him a little bit. And if I can influence, maybe I can lead. So you start to realize that importance of being able to influence and relate to people becomes very, very important. And when I think about leadership, what I realized was there are what I think of as four principles. And it does turn out, as David correctly said, it's very close to the principles, and there are 12 steps. This whole idea of, you know what, I need to have honesty. I have to have hope. You know, the idea of faith, I mean, I think that becomes so important in this whole process, right? The courage, because it's very, very easy to, well, you know, I don't have the time. Having the courage, I think I mentioned in David's class, I have four favorite words that I think came out of this in a different way, and that is this whole idea of discipline, focus, doing it consistently, and as a result, having a little personal credibility, right? Because if I can be disciplined, I can stay focused, I can do it consistently, then I start to have a little credibility with myself. And if I credibility with myself, maybe I have a little credibility with David and other people. So that process, I think, becomes very, very important. Integrity, willingness, right? Because, you know, if you're not really willing to proceed, it's very, very easy to get bogged down. So many of these things, I think, become very important. You know, it's not about you. You got to have enough humility to move on, and discipline and action. I mean, it's all right there.